single college student that would have been graduating in 2014 in computer science could have been hired, and there still would have been a surplus of jobs.
I definitely think that technology is a topic that is on the rise, definitely because of the prevalence of technology in our current culture. It's the smartphone generation. Nowadays, because there are all these big fish out in the water, it seems like we've entered this race.
Americans have always valued progress and have seen it as a way to improve their lives. As technology continues to play a huge role in our everyday lives, the need for tech-related jobs is increasing faster than ever.
All of these things are like, oh, I can use this and I could also work on it. Like I could also be a part of this. People like to be involved in things that they themselves see impact in their lives.
Through technology, we have effectively created culture. It changes the way we communicate, and since communication is a lot of what defines culture and how we perceive things, then it's definitely a very integral part of our culture.
We have better means now to surface information. With social media and technology in the last 10 years and using smartphones, it's just become so much easier to share information now than it was before. We just have better tools to disperse information.
Becoming a computer scientist meant working at a tech company, where now that definition and that career path has diverged in many unique and interesting ways. The field is actually becoming more successful. Tech is permeating all disciplines. The other reason that computer science has become more trendy recently is that there are more tools. It's become much more accessible.
With companies like Google, Facebook, and Apple that are constantly expanding and creating so much potential to make our lives more efficient, you would expect to see more people interested in pursuing a career in computer science. But if trends continue, there will be 1.4 million computer science-related jobs available by 2020, and only 400,000 computer science graduates with the skills needed to fill them. And of these 400,000 graduates, only 1/4 of them will be women. Which makes us wonder, if there's so much opportunity, why are there so few women in the industry?
There's always been a lot more men doing software development, and I think it still continues to this day.
A long time ago, boys did everything and the girls just stayed home and cleaned and worked. And I think that's not right.
Boys invented the computer and Microsoft Word.
They were told, you could be a nurse, or you can be a secretary, or an administrative assistant. It was almost like society dictated to women what their role in the workplace would be. That's what led to gender inequity in many companies, especially in management level and up.
Socially, it was just a lot more acceptable for boys to be involved with computers and technology.
The lack of women in the industry is an issue that has been present for much too long. People are starting to realize it. But somehow, women still make up less than 1/4 of the workforce when it comes to computer science, an industry that offers some of the best salaries in the market. After all these years without women, what is the industry missing? And why is it so important to have gender diversity in the workplace?
Putting money into a girl's education is one of the biggest factors in the economic development of a country.
I definitely don't believe that only 15% of the people who are awesome and capable of doing this job are women. They're just not doing it, but they're out there and they're good at this, or they can be good at it, even if they don't know what it is yet.
It's the same reason why we want men in the field. It's the same reason why we want women in the field, because we want each voice to be heard, because each voice is important.
I think that both the cultural experience, social economic experience, and gender experience, those voices need to be heard in our products. I believe that some of our products that we're putting out there simply aren't meeting the needs of the greater society, and to exclude their voice is a shame.
You want just different types of people. You don't want just all gamers, and you don't want all business people doing programming.
Everybody should be able to communicate. If you don't have women involved here, they're not going to be able to communicate. If you sort of see communication as a fundamental literacy, the same way maybe we've thought of reading or writing or math, it should be everybody, and we need to take efforts to bring more women in to do that.
There's a lot of research that just by having a diverse team helps teams in general. Like if you can have different races, different genders, different ages, you collectively end up making better decisions for your business.
There is value in having diverse perspectives and making sure that the tools and the products and the solutions that are being designed and built are reflective of the diversity in the user base.
This is a fact now, is like we need girls, and not only in computer science, but in all fields.
The more diversity you can bring into the workplace, the less you're gonna fall into groupthink and not be able to produce new innovation.
We want people to reach their potential, to have the ability to do what they want to do.
More and more teachers are recognizing that this is an important skill that their students at their school need to have.
So if people are finally realizing the importance of having women in the workplace, what can we do to get them there?
We find that what really draws girls and women into computer science is the ability to see this field and this profession as a way to solve some of the major problems that we're facing in the world in a collective community, something that they can work on together with their friends and feel like they're actually building something that matters.
We run girls-only programs, and that's really probably the main thing we do. By having girls-only sessions, they get to be with their friends, they get to explore and collaborate and learn about coding in an environment that's fun for them.
It's very important to encourage girls to participate in computer science programs.
What we're trying to do is get girls excited about this and see the opportunity. And so by having girls in the program, by having female role models for those girls, those are really valuable ways to get girls motivated.
We need to encourage young women to find their voice in an academic setting. The earlier you approach these groups and let them know that they have a voice and their voice is valued, what we'll end up doing is creating that paradigm shift necessary at the educational level in order to empower women, especially in fields of mathematics, science, and that leads to computer science as well.
Giving them that exposure means that they're more likely to consider computer science down the road because at least they know what it means.
Technology is a fact of life. It doesn't matter what career or what job you go into. There's going to be some level of computer science and or coding involved, at least the knowledge. It's where our world's going. That's the future of our kids. And I think what education needs to do is actually prepare kids for their future and not prepare kids for our past.